Okay, first off, we've got the description from a paper about what's happening with a light beam. I'm going to explain exactly what's really happening, and then directly after this first section you will see an Ouroborus field and how it rotates, and then after that you will see what is happening on top of an Ouroborus torus field. Thanks a lot. Okay, today we're going to be talking about how light pushes and pulls matter. Now I'm going to read through the story here. I've got the video playing. This is Spotlight in Physics Today, and so we're going to go through it and see if they have an explanation or if I have an explanation. My explanation, I've already said, is that energy, light, heat, water, it doesn't matter, has two rotations. Two leaders, both travelling clockwise like a twisted braided rope, but one is travelling internally clockwise and one is travelling internally counterclockwise. And what this means is clockwise rotates matter backwards and counterclockwise rotates matter forwards. Now, but what's happening at the tip there, I actually believe is exactly what I've just said. But when energy goes through an inertial plane, whether it be a magnet or light hitting water, or water hitting a floor, it will always create an Ouroborus torus energy field around the inertial plane. So what I'm saying that piece of gold is doing while it's moving up and down is that an Ouroborus torus of energy spills out of the end of that needle. And then that is why it is rotated up and down and up and down, and then a standing wave is produced by the Ouroborus torus field. Now, the very fact that it's moving in two directions, and they say that it's due to two different forces. Let's have a read here. Light carries momentum that can push on an object, but it can also move an object through thermal forces. A new experiment combines both of these effects to manipulate a tiny gold plate that can slide along a tapered optical fibre. The momentum transfer and thermal forces act in opposite directions. Well, I don't even care. I know that one is an EM field and one is an electrical field. They are both exactly the same, but travelling perpendicular to one another. Which, I don't know if that's what they're trying to say here, but that's what I'm saying. So the momentum transfer and thermal forces, which is all energy, act in opposite directions, allowing the plate to be driven first one way and then the other. So they haven't explained what it is, they've just given you a description of what's happening. The device might one day be used to generate mechanical energy from light or as a micro transport system. So you see, energy moves matter. Okay, when a light beam reflects or scatters off an object, the object will recoil. That's because there's an Ouroborus torus field. This so-called optical force is used, for example, to trap glass beads in optical tweezers. Light can also exert force through the photopheric effect, where preferential absorption of light on one side of an object leads to a temperature difference that causes the objects to move. No, it's energy. It's got nothing to do with temperature. Heat is energy, which makes things vibrate. The air molecules on the hot side heat up. Nope, the air molecules on the hot side start vibrating. And their collisions with the object deliver more momentum than those on the colder side, producing motion. Energy moves matter. So energy is what is producing motion. It's got nothing to do with the colder side. Just once motion is started, everything else must reproduce that motion. In most situations, both the optical and photopheric forces will act on an object exposed to light, but usually one will dominate. Blah, blah, blah. For example, in water, the optical force dominates because the liquid prevents any significant heat buildup in one location. Researchers have devised experiments in which an object is affected by both forces, but typically the force directions are the same or the motion is limited. And his Q and his colleagues' new setup has the two forces driving an object back and forth over relatively long distances. So all they've done is put two words to it. One is momentum transfer and the other is a thermal force, which explains nothing. I've said that they're moving in opposite directions within an Ouroborus torus field, and I'm about to show you a video of an Ouroborus torus field in action. So they sit here and they say this is quite the unique kind of experiment, and yeah, well, it may well be, but there's no explanation. It's a description of momentum transfer and thermal forces acting in opposite directions. Whereas I say no, it is a double helix Ouroborus torus field that rotates both clockwise and counterclockwise, which means it pushes and pulls until equilibrium is achieved, which you are about to see in water with particles rotating in two directions, being pulled both in and pushed out. So my experiments correspond with this experiment, except I've given you an explanation. Clockwise rotates matter backwards, counterclockwise rotates matter forwards. Okay, a bit more on the third page. In multiple trials, the team sent a broad spectrum light beam into the fibre and observed the plate sliding up the fibre about 20 micrometers or so. From there, the plate slid back down to its starting point and then reversed course one more time, sliding up about 40 micrometers and stopping for good. This entire yo-yo motion took a little less than 3 seconds. See the video right there. The team explained the plate motion with detailed calculations. Yeah, so they don't know what's going on. They just said there's a pile of numbers. They showed that the light escaping the fibre heats the front end of the plate, the one closest to the fibre tip. Nope, it's an Ouroborus torus field, which always moves energy to the boundary and then rotates around the centre, which is what is causing the motion and the heat. It is energy movement. Air molecules striking the plate obliquely deliver more momentum when blah blah, look, hot and cold. This is what we're basing it on. For the optical force, the gold plate scatters and absorbs light. No, it's absorbing energy. Pushing the plate tip forwards, blah, blah, blah. Potentially one could optimize, blah, blah, blah. Chen Q, no relation, la, 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 says, previous efforts have demonstrated light-induced back and forth motion, but this new work is unique. It is basically exploiting the competition of photopheric force and optical force to deliver a skateboard or hovercraft on a track. So again, no explanation. So this expert in light force manipulation has just given you a description, not an explanation. I've told you why it's happening. Clockwise pushes backwards, rotates backwards, and counterclockwise rotates forwards, and it performs an Ouroborus torus field, which is what is happening at the end of that light. So now I'm going to show you an Ouroborus torus field in action and showing exactly what it does. It's a long video because I had a lot of fun just playing with it. It's worth watching to the end just to see the hydrodynamics and all the vortices and exactly what is happening, because I start off with a lot of piles of stuff and then I let the water remove everything. And just while we're talking about an Ouroborus energy field, which you think of as a magnetic field, all the matter is pushed out, which again conforms to my motion of everything diagrams, my very first picture out of the 4. If you go see the motion of everything video, a field defined, you will see an Ouroborus torus field drawn which pushes out all matter. So watch the video to the end because I show how a Ouroborus torus field working as an input magnetic field removes all matter till there is only energy. Let's take a look. Okay, now we have the ash video, which shows, we just showed the top and what's happening with that. Now we're going to have a look at the Ouroborus torus field, which is really good. Okay, so we're showing you the Ouroborus torus field again. Let's bring in our asteroids and planets and whatever this is and see what it does. In the centre there's the Ouroborus torus field, which is clockwise and counterclockwise rotation, which is why it all seems to be going in 2 different directions. And of course it will create a space, but it will keep pulling bodies of matter in and out, because a torus field, sorry, not a torus field, an Ouroborus torus field, which is the snake that eats itself, which means it's rotating in 2 directions, left and right, clockwise and counterclockwise, which is why things get pulled in and things get pushed out. Otherwise, nothing could be going in. So another look at fluid dynamics. So yeah, this is a heteromac formation.
just one Ouroborus heteromac. Energy is moved to the boundary, and so is matter. But things get caught up within the Ouroborus torus field. So yeah, I'm just observing too. This is the first time I've done this, but it's quite smashing. I do say so myself. I wanted to be able to show rotation, and I think I'm doing that. I've shown it in steam and what it's doing in craters, because I'm pretty sure if we check that edge, that's exactly the same as a crater formation with all the divots, which I've already done on a different video. So this one was just trying to be able to show the Ouroborus torus field. Will it do the top part as well? Yeah. And so that is also going on the top. But if we dump it in, set it up. Again, it pulls all the matter in because it's energy, and it's pulling in and then throwing it back out again. Ouroborus torus field is able to grab hold of stuff. So that's what's on the edge of a magnet. That is the field that turns perpendicular to the original flow and stops the rotation of gyroscopes and things like that, because it's travelling in two directions. This is plainly seen. In and out means rotation clockwise, rotation counterclockwise, otherwise there's no way out. You'll just keep being rotated inwards, and that's not the point of an Ouroborus torus field. So depending on which flow this is, clockwise or counterclockwise, it has removed all matter, just like a magnet. So which one pushes stuff away on a magnet against another magnet? And you will understand what's going on here now. All matter has been removed. We've got two completely different rings there. So we have a ring system now as well, just by flowing water, which has an Ouroborus torus field created within it.
Okay, and that's the end of the video because my computer won't process any more information, so I'll do a second part where we see a really good look at the top of the video. Thanks very much. My name is Lee, and I have successfully demonstrated an Ouroborus torus field particle rotation field. I follow Jesus Christ and his commandments and his teachings, and he showed me all this in 2014 for 3 weeks, day and night. Thanks.